Hey everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. A few days ago, Blight Survival released footage of their pre-alpha gameplay, and the game looks pretty interesting. It's sort of a mix between the horror zombie genre and medieval fantasy genre. I saw someone describe it as the medieval version of The Last of Us, and I thought that was pretty clever because it seemed to sum it up really well. During this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I spotted in the video that are giving us an inkling of what we can look forward to when the game is fully released. I'm going to be jumping around parts of the trailer, so if you want to watch the full thing from start to finish, I will post the link to the gameplay trailer. IGN has it on their channel. That link is going to be in the description below. With that being said, before we get started, I'd like to say, if you find yourself watching this video and you say, hey, this video is pretty good, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you know when I upload content. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the world setting and immersion. So as soon as we see our player step out, there is a world that's very dark and gloomy. There's a lot of debris on the floor. Things are broken. The village and the homes are destroyed. On one of the buildings, there's fungus growing on the wall, and there's like blood stains. There's bodies laying out. So it's really giving us this feeling of death and decay, really putting us in that apocalyptic, blight, black death, kind of deal. So they did a really good job with the scenery. Even later on in the trailer, you have this visual where a cart's tipped over, it's on fire, and the horse has like bones showing and stuff, and all of it's really good scenery to fit the setting of the game. And to complement that scenery, they also have a good sound design from some of the things that I've heard. The fire crackling in the background, wood creaking from the houses because they're old and ruined. There's water in some of the forest regions as you're crawling through, and you hear little splashes, the brush of foliage. So those little details add so much to the scenery, and it really sort of puts you in this mood that, okay, everything's dead here, my life is in danger, and this is the end times. And I think they really did a good job portraying that with the design of the world and this setting that we're in. All right, let's jump over and talk about the player combat and status. So on the bottom left, there is a status bar, and one of the interesting things that jumps out to me is they seem to have some sort of day-nighttime tracker in the bottom corner. And I'm curious because usually that indicates there's going to be some sort of mechanic that feed off of the time of day. Meaning, if it's nighttime, will the monsters and the people that you encounter, the NPCs, are they going to be more dangerous, or are you going to be able to sneak better at night? Will certain quests be only available at night, or do you have to turn things in at a certain time of day? So I'm excited to see how that's going to play a part in this game. Other than that, you have your standard health bar, and there is a stamina bar below that. Now that brings me over to the combat. The combat that we've seen so far is really, really cool. The finishing moves that we've seen, there was the one where he like tackled one of the blight affected, or we'll say zombie in this case. So it looks really cool combat. Sort of breaking down in more detail. We've seen dodging. You've been able to dodge attacks. You've seen sort of a light attack combo, and then he finishes off with like a stab through the zombie's head. So we see some sort of combo system where you can chain attacks. As we fight, our stamina does deplete. You can see it in the bottom left as he's swinging his sword. Then his stamina is dipping, and then you can also see that there's different intervals depending on what you're doing. As he hits his finishing moves, it depletes more stamina than the light attacks. So, that gives us an indication that you're not just going to be able to hack and slash your way through this game. You're going to have to deal with some stamina management. Now, one of the questions I have after watching this is, are there going to be some sort of builds and abilities? I've mentioned earlier on that there's like sort of this tackle ability that the player does, and then he stabs him while he's on the floor. I'm wondering if that's something that you spec into, or you have to pick that ability, or if it's something that's going to be available for everyone. So that's something that we'll see later on. And then later on in the video, we see some sort of stealth mechanics. So we can see our player got on the floor, and then they're crawling to avoid some enemies. And then he pulls out a very small dagger, and he's able to sneak up on a player and stab him and kill him with his stealth attack. So that's another mechanic, and goes back to our ability for sort of builds. Maybe there's a question here. Are we going to be able to build certain type of characters, having sneakier characters or having, more powerful characters that wear heavy armors? I'd be interested in seeing how these builds will play out. And then going on to our weapons of choice that we see here, the game confirms on their Steam page that there are a multitude of weapons that you can select and customize. So some of the types of weapons that we've seen so far from this trailer itself is you have a short sword. I presume this is a long sword that the player is using, and then we see them pick up a bow, and then you actually have a dagger in there as well. I forgot to mention that the short sword was sort of revealed as the player opened the chest, and I'm going to get into that in the next section when we talk about looting and crafting. One of the things that did irk me about this trailer was the player picked up a bow and he had an arrow, but he did not have a quiver. Why is there no quiver? Where did he get the arrow from? Is it just a random one he picked up off the ground? Does he have a supply of them where he can pull out? I'm a visual person, so I kind of want to see that, that kind of draw action, him pulling the arrow out, drawing it, and then letting it loose. So hopefully, we're not pulling a GTA where, the rocket launcher comes out of nowhere. So the next section I want to get into is the loot and crafting. During the trailer, we see our player turn over some bodies, grab some loot off those bodies. One being, it looked most likely the currency. How that's going to be used, it looked like you'll be able to sell gear. Whether that's with other players, I'm not sure yet. But it does look like there is a value to the gear. We can see that when he opens a chest, and then it tells you the value. So I'm assuming you can buy and sell things. Also, maybe you spend that on experience, because I didn't see an experience bar. So maybe you can spend that experience like, what's the game that does that now? Man, I drew a blank. Elden Ring. That's the game. Took me a while there. But yeah, maybe you can spend coins on experience, or that currency on experience. So we'll see. We'll obviously see how that plays out once more information is released. Other things that we saw the player loot are some reagents. He looted some mushrooms. There was some salt that he got off of another body. So I'm wondering if you're able to craft potions, maybe. There is a blight, so maybe there's areas that you can get infected and you need some sort of potion or anything to to lessen chances of getting infected by blight, or removing the blight, or whatever the case is. Or maybe it's simply just for food. We also see the player loot some leather. I think it was iron and steel off of another body. And then from our chest that we opened, we see that they looted a hilt, so like the handle for a short sword. A couple of other things that jump out to me when we looted the chest and we got the hilt for the short sword. On the screen here, you can see that there is some stats for attack, handling, speed, and block, meaning different components of your weapon are going to change the effectiveness of your weapon in the game. Also, there seem to be these slots here. It says undefined. There's 2 slots here on the screen, and maybe those are gems or sockets, or special abilities that you can imbue on your weapon. So it's looking like the crafting system is going to be pretty in depth. And last but not least, let's talk about the co-op. At the end, we see another player, or what we presume to be another player, come along off the screen and kind of wave to each other. So this game is up to 4 players. It is co-op. So everything's better with friends, right? Really good. Really looking forward to that. But one of the questions I had from seeing that is, how does the progression work? If you're doing something in this area, they're doing something over there, does that progression sync with both? Does this count towards what you're doing, or what they're doing, and does what they're doing count towards what you're doing? So it'd be pretty neat to see how they work that in. But it is looking like it's the shared environment where you guys can be pretty much on your lonesome and meet up when you need to. And that's pretty much it for this deep dive. We got a good amount of content from that 5 minutes of the footage, and this game is looking up. It's looking very interesting, and I'm excited to see what it develops into as more footage is released and we get closer to the start date. Thank you guys a lot for watching this video. Again, the link is in the description to the trailer if you want to see it from start to finish uninterrupted. And if you like the video, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.